Okay, so I want to move into talking about your acting, which I'm fascinated by, and I want to start with a clip of the David Cronenberg film Videodrome. I'm sure many of you are familiar with this film. I think that Debbie is the best part of it. I think that her performance in it is stunningly beautiful. So we will watch a brief clip of that, and then we will talk about Videodrome.
What are you waiting for, lover? Let's perform. Let's open those neural floodgates.
So this kind of blends into my film, So Unreal, and one of the things I want to talk about as it pertains to my film is, you're playing a character that is virtual. We didn't really have a word for it then. We didn't really know that character would be considered virtual. But you're playing someone who is not real. An image, a fascination, a fetish, an idea of a person. Did that go into the way that you built the character? Did you think, how should I create this virtual person? Or did you treat Nikki, the character, just like another character? Was there a level there of, how do I create this there, not there, human, not human? Or did you just try to get right to the soul of a character and perform that aspect of it?
Well, we didn't know virtual. We had no term then, you're right. So, I don't know, it seemed pretty clear to me, that regardless of whether she was real or not real, or real or unreal, she was portraying a reality. So, it really wasn't my problem as an actor.
Yeah.
It really wasn't. And we all knew, we had no name. We didn't know what she was. We knew who she was, or who she was trying to be, and what she was doing to others. So, I don't know, I don't know if I have a full comprehension of that kind of effect on people,
Yeah.
but we all have, an imaginary idea of, who the other person is, and sometimes it works and sometimes it really doesn't. So, I think Jimmy Woods had more of a problem with it than me. And it all sort of fitted the storyline. It really all sort of fit together. I mean, let's face it, Cronenberg is out there. And he always has been, and he's always ventured into these, weird designs for human beings and science combining, and, that's what he started out, that's why he was famous, or, his path or his trajectory.
Can I ask, when you receive a script like that, but you can't quite see what his personal, his effects and everything like this, is it a description? Like, did you sense that the film would have this almost, I don't know, that it would be so effects heavy and that it would feel the way that it feels. You know, his films have such a feel, and they're so tactile and almost fleshly. Did that come across in the script? Did that come across when you were performing your scenes, or were you just kind of entrusting of the authorship and trusting of the just collaboration? Did it feel like another collaboration that you trusted, or did you really get a sense of, I don't know, what the whole piece would be?
No, there was no ending to the film, no ending in the script, so some of us were getting pretty uptight about that. But, you know.
What do you do when there's no ending?
What happened?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, everybody handled it differently. Like this, some people really, you know, badgered David. What's going to happen? What? You know, we can't work like this. But I mean, overall, the idea was to work with Kramer. That's what was, you know, how it was going to be. I mean, it sort of made everybody a little bit nervous, but then that was sort of great. It was sort of great for the tension of the film and you know, this weird other that existed but didn't exist. Yeah. So, you know, it was really worked.
The reason why I included it in my film is because the way that your character lures him into a kind of cyber fetish world, it was so prescient. I mean, it feels so thoughtfully forward. You and your character as this kind of conduit into a world where you can, I don't know, live out fantasy. And I'm always interested in these, it's like porn but not porn, if that makes sense, like non-actual sex, because I don't think that that's necessary. That's what's great about the movie, is it stops short of anything that feels gross and lives in a world where your imagination can keep going and going and going. And I think that what Cronenberg is doing with both you and James Woods is a really, I don't know, evocative sexiness that stops short of anything that feels gratuitous. It's a beautiful film, and I'm so happy that it was in my film, because it feels like the borrowing of something. Yeah. It's interesting that he chose to cast you as well. I mean, you loomed large already at the time. You were already who you are and who you were. So I wonder if there was like a meta aspect of casting you, just as a person who also already pulls us into pop culture and pulls us into television. It felt like a great casting decision.
Well, why did you get sucked into it? You know, I mean, you obviously love all of this stuff, and it's really...
Yeah. I mean, I think even seeing in the clip, you can tell the imagery is so beautiful. It really stands out. It's not just the costumes and the art direction, which I think are, I don't know, everybody just looks so beautiful. It's also that it feels important. It feels like important ideas. And I know that it is kind of a cult totem now. The film itself has had life and life and life and life on, and I know you're asked about it often. That's another thing I always wonder is, do you know at the time when you're in performances like this, this is something, this collaboration is something, it's really gonna touch people, or again, do you just sort of throw that caution out and not think about the future? I guess I wonder if you're just always thinking about the future, or if you have a capacity to live in the present.
Well, I thought I was in way over my head, actually. So, you know, I was just trying to keep up. And so maybe that is, you know, living in the moment, you know.
Yeah.
So, I mean, why did you, I'm trying to get you off of me and into, you know, so unreal, and why did science fiction you know, take over your life? I mean, for a short time.
I mean, I'm not on social media. We were talking about this, neither are you. It seems like an epic waste of time to me, but it also seems like something that breeds a lot of insecurity, pain, anguish. But I do think about people who live through the internet, who come alive through the internet, who come alive through cyberspace, and these avatars and ways of living through a second or third reality. I think a lot about why we don't want to live here now. I understand why we don't, but I don't know, I don't want to live on the internet. And I think it's a dark place. I think it's a playground, but it's not one that I find interesting to hang out on. And I think you're right, the etiquette idea is also, it's where people go to express their oddest selves, their rudest selves. I don't know, I think it makes me seem like a Luddite to care so much. But yeah, I was just talking to my co-writer Britt and my editor Ben today about the telephone, and I've had such an intimate relationship with the telephone. And not to bring it back to you, but you have written a couple of the most iconic songs ever about the telephone. The telephone is an amazing object of history. And I'm curious, do you have a relationship? Do you call people? I love to get a phone call. I love telephone calls. And I think that that's one of the things now that's lost. Now that we can text, like, I always pick up when my phone rings. Do you pick up when your phone rings?
Yeah, pretty much. But I agree with you. I mean, texting is great, zigzag, zip, zap, zip, and you can cover a lot of ground. But if I really want to know the truth, I try speaking, because I can hear it in the voice. You know, there's something about actually hearing a person's voice.
Yeah, I remember when we first spoke, I asked you about writing Call Me for Schrader, for American Gigolo, and you said that you were given that footage, right? And it had no sound to it. It didn't have a temp score, right? It was kind of empty of music, and you just kind of watched it, and you wrote the song for it. And I'm so curious why you chose something like the telephone. I mean, I know he's speaking on a car phone, but just to conjure the telephone, do you feel like that's a connective, like, do you still feel like the telephone is this great connector of communication and of people?
Well, that was his business.
Yeah.
So that's how he got his assignments, so to speak. It was all his phone messages, or, the head of his organization calling him and telling him he had a destination at 2 o'clock or whatever. So,
Yeah.
and I think as he was leaving some of his assignments, some of his hot rendezvous, he would say, "Call me." That seemed pretty obvious. Originally, Giorgio had written a song with another lyric, which was "Man Machine," and it was awful. And I think that's the way that he felt about it. But as a woman, I couldn't really sing "Man Machine," and Giorgio could, and so I had to start over. But the footage was so beautiful.
Yes.
Wow.
Did you, when the film was finished and you watched it, did you love the movie as much when it was completed as just being given this
kind of gorgeous little intro, did you feel a relationship to the movie? The movie to me is an amazing piece of 80s, just cinema and lifestyle, and Call Me is a part of that legacy. Then that song, of course, went on to be what it is now, but rarely do people know that that song is sort of for that movie and that you wrote it to imagery. Do you ever write other things to imagery? You know, like when you watch a movie or when you see other images, like, do you ever think, I can write something to this, or I'm thinking of lyrics, or do they just come with no images?
You tell me, have you done that? Is it a subtle suggestion, or is it a blatant, you know?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I think I used to write lyrics just based on feeling, imageless, floating feeling, that I would just pull a feeling out. I wanted to replicate a feeling, and then I would write about that. I've never been given an image and asked to write a lyric to it or a song to it. Seems like an interesting exercise.
I guess whatever, you know, sort of sinks in, you know, I mean, it's sort of, you know, I try not to have an assignment.
Yeah.
You know, because then it becomes kind of hollow for me. You know, and there has to be some kind of an emotional hookup. So, you know, if I went, recently I was in Madrid and I went to the Prado, and my God, there's these wonderful grotesque images, and you know, I know it's sort of sunk in somewhere. So I think that that's what happens to us, you know, and I think that's also what nightmares are, you know, or dreams, you know, that you have a conglomeration of thoughts and experiences and visual, you know, things from God knows what, film or TV or whatever, and it all gets mashed together. I mean, we all know what dreams are. So, no, I think that also stands for lyrics.
Do you ever write your dreams down?
No, I don't.
Do you have any recurring dreams that keep showing up constantly?
I used to when I was younger. Things like
Really?
recurring dreams, yeah.
I'm always interested. People say that people will have recurring dreams for 10, 15 years, these same dreams. That seems horrible. Or like you'd be afraid to fall asleep if you kept having the same dream. But maybe people have a relationship with those dreams eventually. Maybe you get back in them and you do a different thing.
Yeah. I enjoy that sometimes, getting back, you know, sort of waking up and then saying, oh, I want to keep dreaming.
Yeah,
Go
I want
back
to keep
into it.
dreaming.
That's kind of...
You've worked with so many interesting filmmakers, and also, you know, I think acting for you is, it's like so exciting to see you show up. And when I see you in a film, I'm always so keyed into you and in tune to you, because you don't have the same, I don't know, you have something different than the actors that feel like they're there to act. It's a part of that one specific career of theirs. You seem like you can do something that is special, and you stand out in your work.
Thank you.
Yeah, truly. And I wonder sometimes when you are called to act, and I kind of want to talk a little bit about John Waters, like, is it fun to act with people who are friends? Is it fun to act with people that you know and you sort of know why you're there and they know why you're there? Or do you just like being given, a random script? Do you like the relationship to previously exist? Or are you interested in whatever comes to read and, you know, suss it out from there?
I think I've been very fortunate, but one of the things I always knew about Harry Dean was how, you know, important choices are. And I can't really say that I'm fluent in the film industry. So I've been very fortunate to get scripts from directors that I admire and trust, and that scare me a little bit, you know, and make me, you know, sort of really have to brighten up. And so that's sort of the way it's been. And just been lucky. It's not, I don't have a huge film career, you know. I have a small selection of interesting films. They're a little bit odd. I guess it's my oddness that sort of fits into the odd.
Yeah. Did you like being directed by John? I know you guys are friends. You've known him for a long time. Is it fun?
John was so, I mean, like this. And you know, he would just put so much into it, you know. But, you know, like a lot of film directors, he had he came a long way, you know. He really came from bare bones of the underground, and he had a very dedicated crew that loved him, trusted him, and would do anything. You know, they were with him, and they were, I mean, I don't know if they were union by the time I got to Hairspray, but I imagine they were, but I'm sure initially they were just, you know, dropouts and, you know, whatever they were. So they really came up with him. And I don't know, I imagine I know that Kramer had been there on the crew that he'd worked with since the day one. So I think that's a big part of it, right?
Yeah.
Having trust and having, when you see that happening in a crew, then you sort of have a lot more faith in a director. And you know, you have to trust your director. And I guess there are moments when you don't, you know, trust the person. But ultimately, I don't know, I've always had a certain basic, you know, feeling, okay, you know, I wanted to work with this person and move ahead, you know, move on.
And do you like Hairspray?
Do I like Hairspray?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
We didn't want it to end.
Yeah.
You know, we were on the set, and all these kids are dancing every day, and oh yeah, you know, learning all these dances. They were so cute, and they were real kids. Some of them were actors, and some of them were wannabes, and you know, some of them were just sex maniacs, and they just wanted to dance and dance, and it was so much fun. And when it was over, nobody wanted to be over.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
cool.
Yeah.
That's not like anything
And
I've experienced.
You know, they said it's a wrap. They went, you know, and it's really true. I mean, we all felt like that. And I didn't get to do any dancing, except, you know, 1, 2, cha-cha-cha.
Did you want to dance? Do you like dancing?
I love dancing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you dance alone in your home? Do you dance to music? Or do you just like to
If
dance
music
to
is on, I'm moving. Yeah. And music, you know, just creates movement in me.
Do you like to be surrounded by silence? Do you really appreciate silence? There's so much music in your life and so much sound, and there has been for so long. And do you have a relationship with silence? Do you like to sit?
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Does it feel comforting to be in silence, or does it just feel like unnecessary powering down before you power back up?
I have never been, I don't think I've never been without, you know, headphones on or something, in silence, in a complete silence. I don't think that I've ever experienced that. There's always a little something going on. I guess you'd have to be, I mean, even if you were in the Antarctic or something, there would be penguins.
Yeah.
They make a lot of noise.
Sure.
Very, very noisy.
Well, I assume when you lived in the city, it was never silent. It was
No,
constant.
there's always something.
Yeah, there's always something.
And even if you don't know what the sound is, you know, there's always something in there. You know, it's like, it's a conglomeration of sound.
Yeah, it's interesting when famous musicians make like sound pieces and silence is a part of it. It's like they're aching to hear something even in nothing. It's like they hear nothing and think it's something.
Oh, what was that? That was that movie where, what's his name, was floating in a tank and, you know.
Yeah, Gravity. No.
No, not Gravity. I think it was before that. Altered States.
Oh, sure. The cooler Gravity.
Yeah.
The earlier Gravity. Yeah, have you ever done sensory deprivation?
No, but I floated in a tank, and I went there with my good friend, and she hated it, and I just sort of went right out. I just passed out and lay there, and then they had to wake me up.
You were like banging, like, get me the fuck out of here.
No, I really enjoyed it. I guess I needed it that day.
Yeah.
So, you know, you're really sealed off, and you're floating in this gravitational field, this water that's at body temperature. It's really, could be really disturbing, but I guess I was,
That sounds good.
yeah, you'll have to try it.
I will try. I don't know if I could be alone with my thoughts like that.
You're backing away.
I was making a joke that I was just gonna back away and back away and back away until Debbie turned and I was gone. Because it's so odd to have someone taking your photo over and over and over. It's like you just want them to take one photo, you see the flash, and then you walk away, but it's not like that. It's this endless, yeah. And so I was like, I'm just gonna keep going out this door. And then you said the Cassavetes did that to you?
Yeah, John Cassavetes did that to me, and it was wonderful. It was absolutely wonderful what he did. We were in this room in the Whiskey A Go-Go on Sunset Boulevard, and the record company was there, and John was there, and so he said, "Oh, come on, let's go in this larger room, and we'll do a few pictures." And there was somebody else actually taking the pictures. There was a photographer there, but John wasn't a photographer, and so little by little, some nosy somebody or some record company guy would come in and see what was going on, and John was standing next to me, and they would, somebody was taking the picture, and then they would come in, and John would go, "Oh, come on, be in the picture." So little by little, he filled the entire room with people that were just poking their heads in, and he, as a director, was no longer in the picture.
Incredible.
Yeah, he actually did that.
He just disappeared.
Yes.
That seems like something that's what you would want, how you would want him to act.
Yeah.
A prank.
He was the director. He had that little devil thing going on.
He did have that devil thing going on.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit because I think in So Unreal, one of the things that we touch on is, of course, virtual reality. Are you and have you ever been into VR? Do you ever do VR? Do you ever think about it? Do you ever want to put the headset on? Do you ever want to, be a person who's somewhere else in image, but right in the comfort of your home or in the space that you're in? Or do you not have any interest in that kind of separation from reality?
It's kind of scary.
I think so.
Yeah.
There's a thing now where people want to do concerts like this, like they want to say, okay, I don't want to see Lou Reed live, I don't want to go there, but I'd like to put on a headset and just be in the front row. And it's going to become more and more popular, I think, to do this. And I wonder, like, as a person who plays concerts and doesn't just play to 1,000 or 2,000 or 5,000, but we're talking about plays to many, many people. Do you feel like that's shitty? Like, do you feel like people should show up?
Well, it's very narcissistic, don't you think?
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, aren't you as the artist feeding off the energy of the crowd, and you love the bodies being there, and it's a relationship, it's a corporal relationship, a fleshly relationship.
Yeah. Things happen.
Things happen.
Things happen.
And it's electrifying, right, to have a sort of spontaneous
The
moment.
audience is extremely important to, you know, the advent of the music and how the show goes and how the players play. And that's in my mind. I know that, you know, if I look out and, you know, I do actually watch you. I watch, and you know, that directs my performance. And I know the guys are always looking, and
Yeah.
we're not looking for the same thing.
Yeah.
But, you know, certainly directs their performance.
Do you think that creating do you have a relationship to live albums? Do you like the idea of, I don't know, holding on to a live performance as a recording? Or do you like there to be separation between you in the room, in the flesh, in the moment, and you in the studio, slightly more measured and kind of concentrating on that medium as a forever being? Or do you like the idea maybe that someone would catch you on tape, so to speak, live, doing your thing?
I don't have any objection either way. I think it's all legitimate. I don't know that the quality is that good. But it's good as a treasure, you know, as a moment, you know, and I guess it's sort of the same as a photo, you know.
Do you hold in your memory like special performances that you've watched that have been really meaningful to you? Shows where when you've been there you've thought, this is incredible, I can't believe I'm here. Either ones that you were performing in or just a spectator in, like moments where it felt so exciting and thrilling to be real, to be there in person.
Yeah, sure.
Can you tell me one, any?
Oh, well, I mean, when I was sort of much more innocent or, you know, ignorant, you know, seeing the Doors, you know, I was sort of completely spellbound. As much by the performance and the music as by the way that they had their stage design. And that was kind of very, that was great. It was sort of like a cake, you know, there's these tiers, and I love seeing that. And then another time, it was a really strange New Year's Eve, actually. The Fillmore East had been closed for years, and yet the theater was still there and sealed up and unused. And suddenly they were going to reopen the Fillmore East for New Year's Eve, and they were having Ike and Tina Turner, and I got to go. And, you know, it was, the inside of the theater was like moldy and damp and smelled musty, and it was kind of disgusting, you know, but there was Ike and Tina Turner and, you know, the Ikettes and the whole deal. And then, you know, we had to somehow managed to get backstage. We weren't connected in any way at that stage. And we got to go backstage, and, you know, Tina Turner walked, you know, right past me like this, you know, with her wig, and I, you know, almost fainted probably. You know, these moments, right? Yeah.
That's what I fear we're going to lose. Or something, I don't know. I don't know if like being in person is like a 20th century forgotten thing, but I think for a lot of people what they love about social media, what they love about the internet, and a lot of what we're discussing in the film is this, I don't know, capacity not to be there actually. to get to see it and see it and see it and press rewind and press play and to not be there in person. And I don't know, how will memories be made when you're not making memories?
Well, I don't know, there's no reason you can't have both. But, you know, I mean, ultimately, the internet, people use the internet with the hope of hooking up, right? There's always that hookup thing. And, you know, I don't know what the percentages are, but I think it's probably a small percentage of people who actually step out of the internet and, you know, make that hookup. And so, I don't know, you know, if I knew what it was like to, you know, live in a cave with, I don't know, 10 or 12 other people, and that was it, that was my whole hookup, that was it, nothing else. I think my brain would be a lot different. I think brains are changing.
Yes, certainly.
Is that possible?
Of course our brains are changing. They say something like the human mind is only meant to know a certain number of people. I mean, they say many things, but it's, we know too many people, we've seen too many images, these things, and it's changed our mind. We're now evolving into a different kind of species.
It does seem kind of incomplete, you know, because, you know, we're animals. And we smell, and we hear, and we see, and we feel. And, you know, that's the part that's missing. And those are really important things to have. So, I don't know. How many years have we been separating ourselves?
We've only ever been separating ourselves, I think, every year incrementally. And I think maybe the 21st century is the century of separation. Potentially. And we were talking last night, we were laughing with Tommy about how there's a social media account called The Real Debbie Harry. And this isn't you. It's not actually The Real Debbie Harry.
No, it's not.
But it's called The Real Debbie Harry. And the thought process behind that is obviously not to convince people it's really you. I don't think. I think the thought process behind it is real photos of Debbie Harry. I don't understand. I almost don't understand it. It's so funny and goofy almost to think I'll call it The Real Debbie Harry. And I don't know, like, does that feel like anything? Are you like, I'm fine with that? Or does that feel like, no, I'm fucking The Real Debbie Harry? Does it bother you at all, or do you like the idea that the internet takes your image or takes your life and sort of runs away with itself?
All I can say is, you know, I appreciate it and I love it and I embrace technology. I'm not terrifically great at it. I'm not, you know, stepping out like, you know, some people, you know, they do wonderful things. You know, I work with Rob Roth, who does special, you know, incredible artwork and design. And, you know, I am not that person. And what I try to do is I dedicate a certain amount of time in my day to, you know, dropping, erasing, cleaning up, answering, you know, everything. But I'm not, I guess I'm sort of like you, sort of partially Luddite, but not entirely. Like, I want to use it as a tool, I don't want it to use me.
Yeah.
And I feel like I have other things, I want to be creative, and I want to be creative in a way that my observations, you know, I have to really value. I have to change I don't want to have that same kind of value. I want to have different value. And what do they call those people? Influencers?
Yeah.
I don't know. I sort of laughed when I heard that.
Yeah.
I just thought, okay.
It's laughable.
influenced me, you know. Go ahead.
I dare you. I fucking dare you. Influence Debbie Harry. Go try.
No,
Yeah.
but it works, you know. I mean, there's the kids that really learn stuff from that, and it's part of what, you know, it's part of progress. It's not, you know, I'm an old fart now, you know.
Yeah.
It sucks.
It's no way. Come on.
It does.
Come on.
I wish that I could get more from it, but
Yeah, but do you value conversation? Do you like conversation still?
I like to feel heat. You know, I like to feel heat, and I trust my instincts, and I trust having them. You know, and I like being an animal, and that's that.
I mean, that shows in your work, and that's always shown in your work, this kind of immediacy and spontaneity and fun. I mean, I think one of the best things to learn about meeting you and speaking with you is that you have great levity and humor and fun. We were saying before, you know, in an era when you were rising and becoming sort of like the monolith that Blondie is, you and Chris always had an irreverence. You had a lightness, you had a fun touch, I don't know, you spread a kind of joy. And I think that that's what brought in the eclectic sounds of Blondie, and the embrace of disco, the embrace of reggae, these things like this lightness.
I like it. I like the process of learning things, you know, the discovery. And that's what I really love about the internet and everything. You can learn anything you want. So that's fabulous.
Do you do that? Do you go to learn now?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and what do you want to learn about the most? I'm so curious, like what's your search engine? Like what are you putting in? What are you Googling?
I don't know. I use it as much as I can. I don't know.
Yeah.
I have one particular one.
Do you Google yourself ever? That, talk about sucks, right?
I don't know. Should I?
You did it. I don't know if you need to.
I don't know. Do you? I mean, come
Oh
on.
God, no, never. Oh my God, I don't want to know any of it. Don't
All right. How many of you Google yourselves?
Yeah, everyone does.
Slut.
Exactly. When I have friends that tell me, oh, someone wrote a review and they said this, I'm like, why would you tell me that? I don't want to hear that. I'm keeping myself distanced from it.
I get that.
I mean, you don't want to hear the criticism, but that's the thing about criticism is if you believe in all of the hype, you have to believe the criticism. If you believe all the criticism, you have to believe all the hype. Sometimes it's nice to just not believe any of it, or not listen to any of it, or not look at any of it. So, no, I don't Google myself. I Google you, I've Googled you, but I mean, I wouldn't Google myself. It seems almost like something is going to come back in front of my face I don't want to see. Things you don't want to see.
Well, it's just one man's opinion, you know. Basically, you get opinions.
It's true. It's a place for opinions.
Well, my first real brush with, you know, criticism was many years ago, and it came from somewhere in the UK, and I was so crushed by it that I actually went to bed for, you know,
A week?
Yeah, I went to bed. I was just sort of hid under the covers, and from that point on, I, you know, sort of got real, and it's one man's opinion, and I mean, there are things to learn from good criticism. Good criticism, by
Yes.
the way, is really important.
Did you believe in critics in the early days of your career? Were there critics that you thought that person is quite brilliant, and if they say that I have done something quite brilliant, then I have, and if they say that I have done something quite crap, then I have? Or were you still the same? Like, that's your opinion?
Well, after that week in bed, alone, I really steered away from criticism. And what I found for me, I mean, everybody's different, that during a tour, you get a spread of, sort of analysis, and I steer clear of it completely.
I think that that's very smart.
Yeah, I steer completely clear of it. Focus on my job, focus on the music, focus on my audience, my band, and that's it. I stay on that, and you can't get me off it.
I always wonder, because, when I made music,
To my collaborator, I looked to Britt, I said, is that good? He was like, we did our best, I'm thinking, was this a failure? Like, no one danced, no one, and then the first German walks up to me, how do you think the show went? This is how they wanted to interact with me, and I was my knees buckled. I thought it was good. I mean, I was so insecure to be confronted like that. And then he said, yes, I thought it was a very good show. Very good. And I realized, okay, so maybe it's a cultural thing. Like, I'm expecting you to have a sweaty night you're gonna dance to, you're gonna watch me and love it. But that's not how they approached the music or something. But they had no problem immediately approaching me. And I wonder if...
I would say that's a sign that they liked it.
Yeah, so they come right up to you. I wonder, like, years of doing this, and then the crowds get bigger, the stage gets further away from everyone, that immediacy is gone. You're not in a small club in New York anymore, or in Europe. Do you miss that approach? Is it nice to have some space? Do you invite, not that I want any of you to bother her after this, no matter what she says, but I'm just wondering, do you like the idea of people coming up to you and, I mean, it's
I'm not going to be humping the floor. I'm sorry. No humping.
Yeah, no humping.
Go ahead. Do I like the idea?
Yeah, do you like the idea of people coming up and saying, I love that? Does that feel good, or is it like you just want to stay in the space of the performance, you just want to feel how you feel about it? Are you interested in people's opinions?
I don't know, I've been through all of that, so, I don't know, if it's somebody that I know and respect and know that they know what they're talking about, I listen, like I said, I really value a real good criticism, that is really valuable. But some kind of, thing that's, I don't know, it's an opinion, it's an opinion.
Yeah.
No, I don't have to listen, and I certainly don't have to adhere to that in any way.
What's your relationship to praise, to overt praise? Do you love it? Do you feel cynical about getting praised?
Oh, well, that's something I actually learned from a very wonderful hairdresser. And he was kind of very religious, but not like in a Catholic way or a Protestant way or a denomination. He was just a religious person. And I learned how to say thank you. And it's really served me very well to just say thank you.
So someone says, oh, Debbie, you were amazing tonight. I just absolutely loved your performance. And you just say, thank you.
Mm-hmm. It's quite beautiful. Or, dump you out, wherever you are. I wonder, too, when people come up to you and they know your name, do you ever feel the need to say, hi, I'm Debbie? Do you ever do that? Do you skip it? Are you like, of course you know I'm Debbie, skip it? Or do you feel like that's also part of the humanity? Hi, I'm Debbie. Do you introduce yourself often? You're so known.
Yes, sometimes I do. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like it's always so interesting if you meet somebody and they're quite celebrated and they say, like, does Tom Cruise say, "Hi, I'm Tom," and you're like, I know, you're Tom. It's just it's kind of a lovely small little formality, just like thank you is a beautiful little formality. But I think it's probably it's more often maybe that people want to come up to you and praise you. This is another thing I like to think about with reality and being present and being around people. I don't know, it keeps you linked to real feelings. And the internet has this way, of course, of distancing people from their real feelings. They can hide behind the screen, they can hide behind an avatar, they can say their little nasty thoughts. In real life, I feel like people are so much more moved, and they're actually more positive in real life, and they want to say more kind and overwhelmingly
I guess in a way it's kind of some kind of therapy, you know?
Yeah.
Therapeutic, perhaps. I mean, you get to express a lot of, frustration, I think, a lot of anger and frustration and, whatever else. And I think maybe that's good, I don't know.
Do peers of yours come to you for criticism? Do people ask you to sort of judge them? Friends of yours that are artists, do they come and say, how was this? How am I? How is this? And do you feel the need to be honest?
I guess it really depends on how much I know a person, how close they are, and whether I could say something with love. That could be better. That's a really good direction for you. Do more.
Yeah.
Something like that, because I really care about them. I don't know if a total stranger is going to ask me my opinion, really.
You don't get CDs, people throw like demos at you and...
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
I'm afraid of that, Firstly, because it might hit me. Secondly, because they might sue me.
Please don't get sued.
Yeah. And thirdly, I might really hate it.
Yeah. And we don't want to hate it.
No.
I wonder sometimes about you and Chris, are there times when, or even your entire band, like where their ideas are not what you want and you feel like there's a debate or there's an argument? Like, does it ever collide? Or do you really feel like you're on a wavelength and for the most part you're all riding the same wave?
You mean within the band?
Yeah.
Or just one person?
I mean, either way. I mean, do you collide often with Chris creatively? Is there a bit of an opposition or an animosity that keeps you charged? Or do you feel like it's a kind of single brain creatively at this point?
Right. The best thing that I've learned from trying to collaborate with other writers and other musicians is that it's a give and take, and you have to be flexible. And ego is a monster. It's a monster.
How do you work on ego? Like, how do you deflate ego?
Deflate ego? I don't know. I don't know how to do it. I guess, if you sort of give way first and say, well, once you do that, that sort of like takes the sting out of the air, so to speak, and then say, well, I gave way on that. You could give way on that. So I gave way on that. So, it becomes like this childish game.
Yeah.
But, it works that way because, that's what ego is. Ego is your child, I guess.
It is, it's true. I do want to ask you, because I kind of have to, you worked with Peter Greenaway.
Yeah, but not really. Was the strangest.
I don't know if anyone's seen the Tall Super Suitcases, but I cannot, he is one of the most impenetrable forces. I don't understand even being in a room with him or talking. What was it like? What is he like? What was
Exactly like that. Exactly like that.
Bizarre.
Yeah, because I
Bizarre.
absolutely thought this was, you know, one of the greatest directors, you know, and that, you know, poor little Minnie is gonna be in his, you know, be in something of his. And
Poor little me.
I didn't know what the hell was going on.
I saw him do a Q&A and he was so combative and intense. And I can't imagine what it must be like to be an actor in one of his projects. I imagine he's of course not combative with an actor, but is he just so intense and...
I think he likes to keep you off balance. You know, there are a lot of directors, well, I don't know if a lot, but there are a few really credible directors that just want to keep you a little off balance.
Yeah, they say that about Kubrick, like trying to fuck with you.
Oh God, was it Shelley Duvall?
Yeah.
Oh my God, she complained about, what was that one where they were from
The Shining.
God, I don't know if she ever said it in the press, but she said, oh, I had to do that thing with the hand on the typewriter. I had to do it 300 times. I still don't know why.
Yeah, what a piece of shit. I think. Don't make Shelley Duvall do that 300 times. I don't think. Maybe.
You don't think he did that?
No, absolutely. I know he did it, but I don't think he should have done it.
I don't know.
I wonder sometimes, and I want to know what you think about this. If you're a genius and everyone knows you're a genius, should you be able to get away with those kinds of actions? It seems like we give a lot of weight to genius. Genius performers, genius musicians, genius filmmakers, genius writers. It seems like they have carte blanche maybe to treat people however they want.
Well, listen, somebody has to be in control. You know, the director.
I know, okay.
Look, you're the director.
I can't act like that. No, I don't want to act like that. I would die if I made Shelley Duvall do something 300 times.
We're gonna remember that you said this.
Okay. Everyone's thinking, oh, I know she's. I'm so amazed by the collaborations you've had and continue to have in your life. Do you feel like you thrive best with a collaborator?
Well, I like the adventure of it because things happen, and you know, I feel it's part of the creative process. It's wonderful, and that's what I live for.
Yeah. That's a perfect place. I think we're on to the next, maybe...
People are leaving.
Wait
a minute.
I think actually we're on to questions from the audience. Oh no.
Thanks for coming.
Good. No one's rushing us off. You guys have all the time in the world, apparently.
Listen, I have to say, I have to commend all of you for, you know, supporting this festival, because you know, it's very hard to run a festival like this, and they've really done a great job with it.
It's such an amazing festival, and it's so great to have a film play here, because not only do you get such an amazing global audience, people coming from everywhere, but you get people who really care about cinema watching your film. And you know, we had a sold-out screening today, and everybody who watched So Unreal seemed so, I don't know, the air was kind of intense. Like, people were really listening, and I'm also really appreciative of that. So thank you, and of course, thank you to everyone who works on the festival and had us here. We feel really lucky. And thanks to all of you. They say that every movie is a miracle. And it is kind of a miracle, and I think every album is a miracle too. I don't think it's easy. I think we're going to take some questions from the audience. No, we're not going to take any questions from the audience. Great. That's the end of the night then. Thank God.
Thank you.
Jesus. Die meid. Hou op hoor.